December is the most critical period of your business. It is the time where you get to reflect, you get to plan, and you get to design the life that you want. Businesses always hit plateaus, and the plateaus will generally come from three main causes. Number one, it's the model itself. Number two is that the bottleneck is actually a belief constraint. Number three, and this is the question, is every single one of you can build a behemoth of a business, but are you willing to pay the price of admission? Your perfect business and life starts now. It starts with the intention. It starts with the clarity. Our prime 5 questions. Number 1, what do you actually want? Question number 2, what price are you willing to pay? Question number 3, what are you not willing to do? Number 4, what do you want more time for? And question number 5 is, what will you December is a make or break month for you and your business. I see so many business owners meander and crawl to the finish line. They take one foot off the pedal and therefore start the new year behind the 8 ball. They work so hard during the year only to take their foot off early, and then it takes them several months to recover. So this episode is all about how you should plan 2026 so you can roll into the year with clarity, with momentum, with excitement, with energy to absolutely dominate. Welcome to Profit Made Simple. This episode is called the Preloaded Plan. And I'm going to be taking you through a structure that I have just gone through, where I'm going to be asking some really hard questions of you. And I'm going to be sharing some of my answers to those questions as well, so you know exactly what you did well and where you need to improve from 2025. We're then going to take those lessons and we're going to formulate a plan so you can have your best year ever, because that's what I want for you. Now, this is an episode where you're going to have to stop and start several times. You may want a pen and pad, because I am going to be asking you some hard questions and I want you to look deep within and do the necessary introspection, because I want you to be the business owner that dominates 2026, and it starts now. This episode is going to be released in mid-December, and you've got a choice. There's 2 camps right now. You've got camp number 1, the guys that are going to the Christmas parties. They're going through the motions. They cannot wait to see the year end. They are already in holiday mode. Camp number 2 are those guys that are driving engagement. They are getting clarity. They are getting excited for next year. They know exactly what they're going to do, and they know what success looks like. Which camp are you going to be in? We can't even begin to start planning 2026 unless we review 2025. What I call this is our review before we preview. Now, before we start getting really tactical about 2026 and what it's going to entail, we need to determine, where are we going? What does our business and our life look like? And what is our specific definition of success? This is something that I've done over the last few weeks. And what I have realized is that the vision I had for my business and life is evolving. It is changing. And what I did in 2025 will not work, because my definition of success for 2026 is different. I want a different looking business, and I want a slightly different looking life. So I'm going to ask you, what is your specific? I don't want you to use broad, nebulous terms. I want you to be specific. What is your specific definition of success for your business? Now, this may be how many clients you have, what the team looks like, what your gross revenue is, what your net profit is, what your role in the business looks like, how many hours you're working, and what tasks you're overseeing, what products, services are you introducing and implementing? So I want you to get very specific. I want you to go into the detail on this. So that's the business side. Then I want you to do exactly the same on your personal life. What does success look like for you? How many holidays are you having? Where are you going? What time are you finishing work? What do your weekends look like? What do your date nights look like? What does it look like for you to be the leader of your family? I now want you to do the same for your health. How many times a week are you training? What events are you participating or competing in? How is your sleep evolving or changing? What are you doing for down regulation? How are you adding supplements to enhance your health and vibrancy and vitality? And what does your nutrition look like? You should now be scribbling down furiously with lots of specific objective dot points so we can actually go, yes, have we been successful in achieving and meeting those goals in 12 months' time? You see, a lot of the time people will say, well, I want to grow my business and I want better health. This means nothing. It's general, it's nebulous, and you have no idea whether you're successful or not. So I want you to layer in this depth, layer in this detail so we can have a North Star for each of these three key categories of life: our business life, our personal life, and our health. The next section that we're going to go through is what we call our prime 5 questions. I'm actually going to do this with you. So if you can, stop this video, stop this podcast, and write these questions down. Number 1, what do you actually want? And I know that sounds big picture. It sounds a little broad, but quite often we can be so busy doing, and I look back at my 2025 and it's been successful in many ways. We've doubled one of our businesses. I've run a marathon. I've gone to some amazing places and destinations with my family. But what I did realize is what I want from my business in 2026 looks different than 2025. I had these goals to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coaching clients. And what I've realized is this is not actually what I want. What I want is a smaller number of clients that are higher level that I serve incredibly well, like as well as we possibly can. We deliver the most premium experience, accountability, deliver the most ridiculous results and transformations. And so for me in 2026, I am building a business around what I want. Previously, I listened to too much outside noise. I listened to what my mentors were saying, or some of my team members, some of my friends, some of my colleagues, the industry and influencers themselves. And I was building a business that was becoming misaligned. So what do you want from 2026? What do you want from your business? What do you want from your life? That's prime question number 1. Question number 2, what price are you willing to pay? This year I was in a mastermind and one of the guest speakers on one of the weeks was Aman Gudzi. Now he is an incredible young entrepreneur. He's doing the most insane numbers. And he said something that really hit me between the eyes. He said most people are only operating at 80% of their capacity. And a lot of the time we would say, yep, I'm 100% giving it my all. But he said to give it 100% your all means that you are sacrificing almost everything else. And you know what? He was right. And so when I looked at this question, I said to myself, I don't want to give 100%. I don't want to sacrifice my health for longer hours, 16, 17, 18-hour days in the office. I don't want to sacrifice the time with my partner and my kids, that special time, to work that little bit more and to have that bit more revenue. I'd rather be at the 80% knowing that I'm keeping what's most important at the top of the tree. And I was speaking about this with a client yesterday. He said, Dan, you've run multiple 7-figure businesses. You've got a couple now. He said, what is the key in structuring your week? And I said, it's identifying what's most important to you. It's identifying your priorities, your values, and what you are willing to pay. What is the price? Because I can't tell you what it is. You have to determine that for yourself. Every single one of you can build a behemoth of a business, but are you willing to pay the price of admission? Even now, I'm 20 years into running my own businesses. I'm still working incredibly hard, but I do have much clearer boundaries and other priorities. But I'm still working 50 plus hours a week. I'm still traveling around the country. I'm still seeing clients in every single city around Australia and New Zealand, because that's the price I am paying to build the impact in the business that I want. But that doesn't mean you should. So what price are you willing to pay? Question number 3 now, Prime 5. What are you not willing to do? And again, the greater the clarity we can have on this, the more purposeful we will be operating our business. We will be less distracted and we won't be taken off track. So for me, when I reviewed 2025, what I did way too much was too many bespoke presentations. It's a real honor. It's very humbling that I get to speak in front of rooms full of people that are paying with their time, their energy, their focus, and they're also paying me to be there. But I was doing so many bespoke presentations, and each one takes me anywhere between 20 to 30 hours to create. So next year, I want to do less of them just because of how much investment there is in putting those together. Another thing that I'm not willing to do as much next year is the travel. So I've done 15 interstate overseas trips in 2025. I'll still absolutely travel, but I'm going to do half the amount in 2026. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you not willing to do? Is it work weekends? Is it invest, your own personal family money into the business? Is it something that maybe I've said that resonates with you? Number 4, what do you want more time for? And for me, what I want more time for is my big 4 categories that I talk about. I worked too much in the business in 2025. I took on more coaching clients personally than I have in a long time. The opportunity cost of that was significant. And so the big 4 of these. Number 1 is I want more time for thinking. The last couple of weeks, I haven't traveled. I am seeing things clearer than I have ever seen before. Why? Because I have created that space. I have more white space and I'm starting to join the dots. I'm starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And so I implore you to have just time to think and ideate and ruminate on the type of business and life and impact that you want, because the human mind is incredible when you give it this space. It will start coming up with solutions that you didn't even think of. That's number 1. Number 2 is more time for leadership. I was traveling around like a madman, doing bespoke presentations, coaching tons and tons of clients, that I didn't show up as the leader I know I can be for my team. And I want to show up much more for them because they deserve that. I want to lead them. They have so much immense potential. And it's up to me as a leader to extract that out of them. So I will be doing more of that in 2026. The 3rd and 4th are really deeply connected, and that is the marketing and the sales side. So again, I didn't do enough of that in 2025. And the byproduct of that has been we haven't grown in some areas, in some departments, as quick as we possibly could have. So that's what I want more time for. But what do you want more time for in 2026? They're all business activities. Are there some personal ambitions that you want more time for? Write them down, because your perfect business and life starts now. It starts with the intention. It starts with the clarity. We want to live a life by design, not default. And prime question number 5 is, what will you pay to buy back time? One of the big things that I've done in my life, and every time I've done it, is I have paid people to give me my time back, and it has been worth it in every single case. So this started with my first team member, an administrator. It then was trainers. It then was people doing sales. Every time it's been worth its weight 100-fold. When I look back at this year, I largely did this well. But how can I do it better in 2026? Well, I am hiring a customer concierge. So I will have someone that is just amazing at creating a customer experience, supporting our amazing clients so we can do what we do best, and that is the coaching and the strategy side. That will again buy me back more time so I can focus on those big 4 areas. Where can you pay people to buy back your time? It might be on the personal front, might be that you need a cleaner, might be that you need a cook, a nanny, a gardener, a pool guy, or it could be on the business side. So you can be freed up to focus on your zone of genius. Might be an administrator, a bookkeeper, an accounts person, a cleaner, a coach, a marketer, a digital marketing agency. What can you pay to buy back your time? Because that's the most valuable commodity of all. You're now starting to get some real shape on what your perfect 2026 looks like. I hope you're as excited as I am going through this process. We're now going to take a step back, and this is what I call the reflect and rise. And it's looking at 2025 and going, what were some of the lessons and learnings from the previous year that I can take into 2026 that can serve me well? So again, I've got a series of questions for you, and I'm going to go through with my answers. First question is, what were your top 3 lessons and learnings from 2025? I'll share my 3. The first I've already talked about. There is a law of diminishing returns when you do the technical delivery within your business. Now, it's important that you do technical delivery if it lights you up, if it brings you joy, if it has you jumping out of bed in the morning, throwing the doona off. It also allows you to see things when you're on the floor and you're doing the technical side of things. However, there is an opportunity cost to this. And I experienced this opportunity cost because I did too much of the technical delivery. And so you just need to identify where that is. Is it 5 hours? Is it 10 hours? Is it 15 hours? But I was reminded of that because there is a tipping point and the cost is too significant to you and the business itself. Second lesson for me is that we can serve, not save people. And too many times this year, I tried to save clients when only they can save themselves. I'm sure you've experienced this. We can lead the horse to water. We can absolutely do everything in our power and our locus of control. We can show up for them. We can show up as our best self. We can inspire. We can motivate. We can challenge. We can provide accountability. We can provide the resources. But at the end of the day, you can't get down on the floor and do the push-ups for them. They have to save themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, then we have to be okay with that. We can serve with the best of intentions and utmost commitment. But at the end of the day, they must save themselves. And the third one, this is going to sound a little woo-woo, but what I've been really reminded of this year is there is just infinite abundance in the world itself. There is no shortage of money. It is just an energy that is transferred from people, and I am constantly reminded of this. So if you think that your market is too small, that people will not spend money, then you're completely false and wrong. That is a narrative that you are running. It is an old script that needs to be replaced because there is an infinite amount of money and abundance in the world itself. And when you believe this and when you see it, everything changes. So what are your big 3 lessons from 2025? Second question, looking back at 2025, what was the number one bottleneck that must be solved? Is it your retention? Is it your lead generation? Is it your show up rates? Is it your sales conversions? What's the number one bottleneck that if it's solved will lead to a much more successful 2026? And I have a look, and for me, it's very clear. It's not more leads. We generated tons of leads this year. But what it is more quality bookings in our calendar. We have two sides in our business that we do incredibly well: generate the leads. And actually, when people meet with us, we meet with the right people and they end up becoming clients. The gap in between that is getting more of the leads into the calendar itself. So I know if we solve this constraint, then our year is going to look even bigger and better than what it did in 2025. What's your bottleneck? What skills do you need to develop in 2026? And I share this model with a few clients. Businesses always hit plateaus. Anyone that's telling you that they've never hit a plateau is lying. They never move up in a linear line. You're always going to have a series of plateaus. And the plateaus will generally come from three main causes. Number one, it's the model itself, and something needs to evolve or change in the business model. Number two is that the bottleneck is actually a belief constraint. And so we need to evolve and shift and up-level your belief system. Number three, and this is the question, is it's a skill gap. What skills do you need to develop so you can burst through that plateau, that ceiling, that false ceiling, that glass ceiling that is sitting above you? And so for me, my skill that I need to develop is short form content. For so long, my business and my following was built of longer form content, written content in particular. I'd have huge engagement on that. And that's now started to diminish. Algorithm changes, platform changes, and where people are moving to when it comes to consuming information is short form video content. I know as a skill, I need to develop this because I'm not very good at it. So what's the skill that you need to grow and develop in 2026? And the very last question is this, is where have you missed the mark this year? This is a very earnest and honest episode. I hope you're appreciating it. And for me, it's my leadership. I talk about leadership. I've done numerous episodes on leadership this year. And the irony is I know I haven't turned up as the leader I can be this year for my team. I talked about it before. I can make excuses around it. But the reality is I didn't turn up as my very best self. And that will change in 2026. So where have you not shown up in 2025? So we now have a couple of major pieces to planning 2026. We've got a clear vision of what we want our life, our business, our health to look like. We have a very specific definition of success. The other side of it is we now know what needs to shift, change, evolve from 2025. So now it's taking this information and giving 2026 some shape. So what I'd love for you to do is I'd love for you to get a 2026 calendar. A nice big calendar, ideally. They've got some amazing ones at Officeworks where you can write everything in there. And we need to put the big rocks into our calendar first. And for me, there's two big rocks that I want you to prioritize. Number one is from a business perspective, and they're called the money makers. Now, there are certain things that when you do them in your business, it just brings a flurry of new clients and revenue into the business itself. And ideally, you want to have these on a fairly consistent basis. Now, I'll tell you a little story. I went to my son's Father's Day breakfast, and there is a gym owner there. He owns 3 big gyms. He's about to open his 4th big gym, and these are huge gyms. And when I asked him how the year was going, he said, it's amazing. And I said, why is it amazing? And he said, because we have momentum all the time. And I said, how have you been able to cultivate and create that momentum? And he said, number one, Dan, I'm the momentum maker in my business. That is my role. That is my title. And he said, what I realized, because I've been running gyms for a long time, is that we would have momentum at different periods of the year in spits and spurts. Whenever we'd run a big offer, we'd have this incredible momentum. And And he said, why don't I just have momentum all the time and do a money maker activity or something that drives that energy on a consistent basis? And so I implore you to do the same, because this guy knows his stuff, and it hit me again between the eyes. What if we could have more of this momentum throughout the year? And so the moneymaker activities, what are they? It might be a special that you have. It might be around Black Friday in the financial year. It might be a challenge that you do that brings about a whole number of new clients, but also engages your current clients. I've got clients that do fight nights, and they do these on a regular basis. It might be some of your big events. It might be a games that you run. It might be a retreat. But I want you to think about what the money makers are in your business, and I want you to double down on them in 2026. I want you to have more momentum. I don't want it to go in ebbs and flows and spits and spurts, but rather we want that dynamic, high level of energy and vibrancy and velocity throughout the year itself. So that's big rock number one. I want you to think about what they are and how can we do more of them. For our business, it's definitely our live events. The energy just goes to another level. So what is it for your business? So that's big rock number one. That should be in your calendar now. That goes in first. Big rock number two is time off for you. I want to make sure that your holidays are in there. And I would implore you to do something at least every 3 months, even if it's just a long weekend. Every 3 months, you are taking time off to decompress, to refill that cup of yours. So our mental, physical, and emotional capacity is at the very top level. So you can show up in your business as the person you need to be. So you can show up for your family as the leader you need to be. So I want you to put your holidays in there. This is time for you. If you're trying to pour from an empty cup, if you're trying to hack down the tree with a blunt axe, you're going to struggle. So they're our big rocks. Now we get to the sand. So we're going to still put these in our big calendar. What's the sand? Well, it's going to include a number of things. It's going to have your planning days. You should have planning days every 3 months. So put those in. You might do them on your own. You might do them with your team. You might do them with your mentor. Second thing is your learning and development. Are there conferences, seminars, courses that you want to attend? Let's put that in there, because remember, the business is a reflection of you and your growth. If you're not growing, then your business won't be growing either. The third thing that we want to put in there are our competitive events. Is there something that you want to do? Do you want to do a high rocks or a marathon or some kind of fun event for your physical health and fitness? I then want you to put your family days in there. Are there big times? Is there dance concerts? Are there anniversaries? Are there kids' birthdays? I want you to put that in the calendar now as well. Next category is hobbies. Are there some things that you're going to do? For me, it's scuba diving, it's golf. They need to go in the calendar, otherwise they won't happen. And then the last two things that we're going to put in our calendar are our events. Do you have social events for your business? Remember, I implore you to do 4 different types of events. So you've got your charity events, you've got your competitive events, you've got your educational events, and you have your social events. So let's put them into the calendar. And then the very last thing we're going to do is our performance reviews for our team if we have them. And so now that calendar should have a lot of shape. It should be reflecting your business and life priorities, and then everything else can go in and around those. December is the most critical period of your business. It is the time where you get to reflect, you get to plan, and you get to design the life that you want. Don't wait to New Year's Eve, New Year's Day to start thinking about a couple of big resolutions that have no impact and meaning. Do the deeper work now. Spend some time. Play this episode over. Go through the questions. Buy the calendar. And I guarantee you're going to have a life in 2026 that delivers more impact, more income, and more freedom. And that's what I want for you more than anything else. Thanks for watching.